Hunt 1-1 Connor. Our journey started pretty uneventfully. Nothing extreme happened, and of course, that was kind of the boring part. We weren't sure what was going on, but a queen in a kingdom filled to the brim with people who hate hunters? This should be quite interesting. I'm quite excited. Not only to prove myself, but to prove I can get the job done. I have done nothing in Dalen's castle at all. The only thing I've done is sit there and waited for something to happen. But actually being able to do what is needing to be done and actually being a part of it, it's rather exciting, I'm not gonna lie. We sat at the campfire a few days out from Anastraya. I know next to nothing about that location. All I know is that the hunters there are hated deeply. We sat there around the campfire. Sam was carving a piece of wood. I said, "So what do we know about Anastraya?" "They hate us. There's not really much else to say. We haven't really done much work there because they hate us." "Listen, you saved Abby's life. Now, I don't trust you fully, but you did something that none of us could ever do. I thought she was dead for sure. But you need to understand the rules we're currently in. Okay? Don't mess with Zach. He can barely take it on. He can barely take it at all. So, what happened exactly that day during the battle? What happened? It was a massacre. There's not much else to say. Max charged headfirst into a fight, and it left us all completely leaderless. And Zach doesn't even have a better understanding of being a leader than Max ever did. Listen, you want to earn his trust? Do this hunt right. Why are you so calm? I mean, think about it. When you were in the Hunter's Order, you threatened to kill me. Why are you doing this now? Listen, I don't trust you. I trust that you saved Abby's life, but I don't trust you. That doesn't mean that since we're now working together, I get all the work and you are left nothing. So we're going to work together as efficiently as we can. I'm giving you a shot. That's what I'm doing. Earn it." I nodded. We arrived at Anastraya a few days later. When we arrived, a bunch of guards walked up. They stared at us. Then Sam said, "Let me do the talking, okay? Greetings! You're already expected." "What?" I walked over. "Looks like we're the guest of honor, as you remember from the letter. The Queen has personally asked for an escort for both of you." "What? What do you mean, personal escort?" Sam said, genuinely confused. I walked over and said, "Does this not happen often?" "Not even in the slightest. Hunters just are not treated with special praise, let alone a royal escort. Are your supplies? Do you have them?" "Yes, they're over there next. We have a camp out outside of Anastraya. They're just right over. I'll show you when we get Pleasantry out of the way." I said, "Smooth." Shut up. "So, what was that?" "That was a person who has never really interacted with royalty and is treated like an equal. Either royalty thinks so highly of us, or they think that we are better than them. We're not seen as equals. But the fact that the queen is doing this is quite concerning. It means she's really scared. How far do you think we'll have to go? I don't know. Let's try and get some answers. The queen has already prepared rooms for you and a space for you to do your work. We nodded. We walked through Anastraya, seeing multiple different people just glancing at us. I'm not sure if my presence alone was enough to scare them, because no doubt they saw my red eye and immediately saw evil. I was concerned now. I was deep in the heart of an enemy to Dalen. And I was scared, to be honest. I was very scared. I didn't know what I was doing. But this is my first hunt. I'm going to make it right. We arrived at the front gate, a large wooden brown gate with golden handles. Sam said. What? What is it? It's just... It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the queen specifically asked for us, gave us a royal escort, and has servants carrying our supplies. She's either really stupid or very worried. So why were hunters banned from Anastraya? A few years back, I don't remember when, the king was found to be a werewolf. Now, we killed him, but the hunters who didn't have proof. What do you mean the hunters that did? Were you not on that hunt? No, I was not on that hunt. So, what else do we know about this? Next to nothing. I mean, the fact that the queen is asking specifically for us, something ain't right. I don't trust it. You have trust issues, I discovered. In the life I've lived, trust is a very rare resource. He exclaimed, and then we walked. The queen, a woman who looked like she was in her 40s, dark hair, a golden lined dress with purple patterns all across it, making a hexagonal shape. She then walked over and extended her hands to both of us. She said, It's good to see you two here. And I mean that with a sincerity that I can't say for my people. What do you mean? I asked. My people are difficult to trust. And me more so, since the last time you hunters were here, you killed my husband. We hunters had no interest in killing your husband. We had interest in killing a beast. So I'm told. Your supplies are in your rooms, or they're going to be anyway when the servants get here. Your rooms are at the top of the east wing. There you will find your supplies, and there you can begin your investigation. I looked at Sam, said, Forgive me, Your Majesty, but it would probably help if we knew what we were dealing. Okay? Come with me. Sam nodded, in admiration or in something. Clearly he wasn't a people person. Neither was I. Granted, the last time I was near someone, I was nearly killed by them. I walked over with the queen and saw a cradle in the center of her room. This is Elizabeth, my pride and joy. The only thing my husband gave to me before he died. Didn't he give you this kingdom? It's still in his shadow. I lead it, yes, but not in the way he did. So, what seems to be the problem? Sam said. Every night for the past month, strange figures have appeared in this room. They just stand there, staring at Elizabeth. So, what makes you think these creatures are something of us, something to get our attention with? Because anytime my guards arrive, they disappear. And when my guards are in the room protecting her, I always get the feeling they're being watched. Now, when you say disappear, you mean you'll just have to speak to the guards about it. Sam said, Connor, how about you go do that? I'll gather more information from the Queen. We'll converse tonight, okay? I nodded. I went to the barracks and saw several men, all dressed in plate armor and rough patches, a fabric that defended them from stab wounds. I looked around, and everyone was staring at me the moment I entered the barracks. I looked around for a minute, and I saw a guard. I said, Greetings. Do you know of the missing people that just appear in Elizabeth's chamber? No. I've been stationed there a handful of times. The Queen says that you report feeling like you're watched. Is that true? Yeah. He seemed nervous. Dreadfully so. He kept his eyes away from me. I'm not sure if he was scared or just confused. And if he was scared, was he scared of me? Or was he scared of the thing that he saw or felt? He said, it's a feeling that it's just difficult to explain. Try me. Okay. It feels like there's something in the room, yes. It feels like someone is standing right beside you. You can't identify it because it's just not there. But there's very clearly something in the room with us. I'm not sure what, and I'm not sure if I'm going crazy. But there's just this aura, if that makes sense. This feeling that you know that there's something wrong, but you can't quite put your finger to it. And we've moved that cradle multiple times. Every time that feeling just follows her, like she's cursed or something. Cursed? What do you mean cursed? Why do you say that? I don't. Forgive me, just a figure of speech. It's just that wherever she goes, that feeling is to follow shortly after. We even put her in here, and that feeling again. Every guard felt it. I don't know what to think anymore. I want to say it's a spirit, but I know better than to say things out loud like that. So you're concerned about a spirit and that it's going to attack you because you told me the truth? It's a possibility, yeah. Listen, we're here now. Rest easy. We'll find this thing and bring it down. I can guarantee it. Yeah, thanks. I really need to hear that. But I always wondered, how can an entire barracks of guards, not even compared to the skill of 2 hunters, why are 2 hunters needed for an entire barracks of guard could not do? I don't know. All I know is that we're needed, and I will answer that call. Okay. Thanks. I left the barracks after getting a few more testimonies from other guards. They all said the exact same thing. They were in the room dreadfully scared. Like there was nothing left. One of them described a very cold feeling. Like all the blood in his body froze. And I'm not sure if that's a side effect of a spirit or something, or if there's something bigger at play here. I went up to the east wing, and Sam was already there. I said, "Okay, what did you gather from the Queen?" She describes a feeling of fear and paranoia. Basically all she ever said. What about the guards? What'd you get? They all kept getting this strange feeling like they were being watched. Like there was nothing really else there. Like they noticed nothing there, but they kept getting this feeling they were being watched. And one soldier claimed that there was this cold presence in the room. That's concerning. Could be a spirit. Those aren't easy to take down. I say we go into the chambers ourselves. Try get that same feeling. Agreed. Where do you want to start? We'll start right now. Later that night, we arrived into the chamber. The baby was fast asleep. And we just sat there for minutes, hours, I don't know. Time just faded away. And sure enough, there was that feeling. That feeling of like something else was in the room. I looked at Sam, and he looked at me, and we both shared the exact same expression. Some sort of feeling like there was something there that wasn't there before. I wasn't sure if I'm going crazy or if there's anything else. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. But when the sun rose, sure enough, there was nothing. We immediately went back to our chamber and got a few hours of sleep. We needed it. We were up all night on watch. It was a feeling I would not forget. Then, later that day, I returned to the same chamber and just stood there. I'm not sure if I was just seeing things and going paranoid, as one of the guards did exclaim, or if there was something bigger here. But this room felt off. The baby was gone, but this room, that's what I was concerned with. I just sat there in a chair, the mother's chair that she uses to rock her baby to sleep. I just sat in the wooden chair and just closed my eyes. And I just tried to amplify that feeling of paranoia to make sure it wasn't me. I just sat there for an hour or two, I think. Then I heard a voice. "What are you doing?" I stuttered and got back up out of the chair and saw it was the Queen. "Oh, forgive me. I didn't know that you were going to put her down. I would have. Forgive me. I humbly beg your pardon." It's okay. It's okay. I was just checking in on you. I wasn't going to put Elizabeth down for another hour. So, what did you find last night? Apart from one big question, not much. Your eye. Are you okay? It's. It's nothing. Just a curse I have to bear. A curse? What kind of curse? A curse that, well, to say the least, it's not a pretty one. I can't describe that feeling, but I will do my best to explain it in a way that makes sense. I explained the night's events, and then I explained my own events, what led me to the Hunter's order. But of course, I left out the part where I was a creation of Dalen. I wanted her to trust me with her child. So that's why I opened up to her. She said, "That's terrible. I didn't expect. I didn't know that hunters could be so dangerous and so close to death, and yet you keep fighting for the whatever reason you have. It's not an easy life we live. It's one we live to try and do what's right. Even if it means our own death, let them come. I'm not giving up without a fight." That's terrible, Connor. I really do feel bad for you. Don't be. It's the life I've known for as long as I can. How long were you in the castle for? I guess you could say my whole life. At least that's what it felt like. Now, if you don't mind, I really should be getting back to Sam and talk to him. See what we're doing. I think she had heard enough of my tragedy, of what I call my life. She's heard enough of. She doesn't need to hear more. I went to the chamber that we were staying in and I saw Sam. He was reading a book. What are you doing? Research. Find anything useful? Apart from a big headache, not really. There's no evidence to suggest this place, is haunted. No one in here of importance died. Most people who died were either, away or died of old age. There's not really much. What do you mean die? If you said that they didn't die, I meant died in a very serious way. You're saying that they didn't die because of some other reason? No. All of them either lived happy lives or died away. There's no way that they would come back and haunt this place. And also, why haunt the girl? I don't know, maybe they're trying to send a message to her, but she's too young to comprehend it. If they're going to try and send a message to her, why would they disappear to the guards? Wouldn't they still have that authority? No. There's something bigger at play here. What did you discover in the room? I tried to amplify that feeling of isolation we felt last night. Yeah. He was right. Those guards were definitely with something. I'm not sure what. And if it is a spirit, how do we plan on taking care of it? Well, one, we have to find the source of the haunting. Destroy it. If worst case scenario, we have to do whatever it takes. Burn something. Destroy everything in the process. How do we know what we're looking for? That's the thing. We don't. That's one part about being a hunter. We'd know next to nothing. What are you thinking? What I'm thinking is that we got one big mystery and no leads. What if we try to catch them red-handed? Catch whatever is doing this red-handed. That would put the baby at risk. Yeah, but it only comes out when it knows it's alone with the baby. So if we can catch it red-handed, maybe we'll be able to do something about it. See if it's physical or if it's spiritual. If it's physical, then we can kill it. If it's spiritual, then, well, we'll have to think of something else. Later that day, we presented our idea to the queen. At first, she was very explicitly against the idea. But then I said, my queen, if we don't do this, we're going to keep hitting a dead end until either we die or the baby dies. We don't really have options here. She sat there for a minute, and she said, as much as it pains me, you're right. I'll have no guards stationed there tonight. Just promise me she'll be safe. We nodded. Thank you. A few hours later, we began to prep the trap. When we walked into the room to possibly put down wards, I believe that's what Sam was doing, the feeling of isolation was gone. The feeling of cold, the feeling of paranoia was just gone. I'm not sure if it was that whatever was doing this is getting smarter and it knows that we're about to do something stupid, or if it's just not there. I didn't know. Honestly, I couldn't know. It was a disaster, just waiting so desperately to happen. A few hours later, then we prepped. After eating dinner, we ultimately decided that we were going to get ready. The baby was put down, and we left. It was time to begin the hunt. Time to see what was really going on. Time to see what this thing was. Late into the night, we heard shuffling. Spirit doesn't need to stand, I thought to myself. He can just float. Sam heard it too and immediately drew his bow, pulled out an arrow, and we just waited patiently. He made the 3, 2, 1 signal to me. Then we rushed into the room. We saw a strange figure completely dressed in white. I jumped over the chair and tried to tackle the creature. But it was a losing fight. The creature disappeared and I went through where it was standing. I looked around for a minute. I said, check the baby, make sure she's okay. He nodded and immediately rushed to her side. I pulled out my sword. I just looked around for a minute. I ran out into the hallway. Nothing. The creature was gone. But I definitely scared it. I looked outside. Nothing. The creature's gone. Blasted, Sam said. The baby started crying. I think that I scared her as well. Sam said, what do I do? Why are you looking at me? I don't know how to take care of a child. Well, do something. The baby is crying. Well, I don't know. Why don't you know? Because I'm not a family man. I've never dealt with a baby before, let alone a royal baby. So neither of us know what we're doing in this moment. Pretty much, yeah. Blasted. We tried doing everything we could. We bounced it. We just sat there with the baby crying. And eventually the mother came in. The queen picked her up and started caring for her. It was very admirable. Caring for another creature regardless of the fact that it's difficult. I felt so bad for her. We were running out of time. Something isn't right here. I sat there and thought to myself, what is the end game here? Whatever it was, these creatures were getting really desperate. They were going to make a move. They're getting bold. Now they know the hunters are here. They have to make a move, one way or another. And they probably knew about it long after, so if they're making a move, we have to get it done now. I said, Sam, all right, you saw that creature too, right? What was it? I don't know. They were dressed completely in white. So we have no idea what it was or what it was capable of doing. Blasted. All right. Do you have a plan to stop it? No. Oh, this is going to be bad. We need more evidence to figure out what this thing is. If we can get it, then maybe we can kill it. Did you see the way it dodged? It dodged at me when I tried to tackle it. So you're going on this theory that this creature is mortal because it dodged? A spirit has no need to dodge. You're right. My bad. I should have saw that coming. Good work. Thank you. Then we continued to scour around the entire castle, tried to find any access point, anything at all, but there was nothing absolutely out of the ordinary until I thought to myself, the attic. There's an attic in here, right? Where you would store your old thrones. I looked at the queen as she sat on her throne. Yes, I believe so. The creatures are probably in there. How do you know it's more than one? I don't. I just have that feeling, you know. There's no way that one creature could cause all this fear and all this paranoia. If it's mortal, it has to rest. So either A, there's multiple, so that someone could be constantly watching the baby, or B, it's smarter than we think. And that one's the more scarier of the options. We went up into the attic and looked around. We saw what looked like makeshift beds. Multiple. Sam said, nice work. Your intuition is going to be very helpful in the following hunts. Does that mean I'm a member of the Hunter's Order? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We looked around the makeshift beds and found what looked like tiny scales. Sam, I threw the scale to him. Make out anything? Not really, no. Anything could have scales. I mean, blasted, there might be some creature up here that we don't know about, and it's probably stalking us, ready to pounce on us and kill us both. I love your sarcasm. I thought you didn't have emotion. I'm gonna try my best. I guess I'm just not funny. Makes sense. Well, no, there's nothing else up here for us to look around. There's just nothing. We returned to our chambers and we're getting ready to discuss our next plan of attack.